The new update 2029.0 has just been released, and it turned out to be very cool and big. So let me show you what was added. But first, legends, comment yes or no. Should Melon Playground add a staff that can create portals to secret worlds? Type it below while we dive into the coolest update theories for version 29.0. The first thing that was added was a lot of new staffs. As you realize, this update is related to magic and the world of fantasy. So, let's take a look at the new staffs. The first is the spiked staff, and there is a way to hit the ground. Then, as we see, a random number of spikes will appear directly from the ground. But the most interesting thing happens if you do this with Melon. So I created a Melon, and let's try to hit him with the spiked staff. And wow, look at him literally covered in spikes. Now let's try to use this spiked melon to hit another melon. And wow! The other melon literally got wounded by these sharp spikes and got a lot of bleeding that is literally unstoppable. But even cooler is a new staff called Glowing Staff. This is one of the best items that the developer added in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. So let's already see how it works. And wow! It literally creates a big flash if you hit the ground with it. Now, let's add Melon and see what happens if I hit him with this staff called Glowing Staff. Let's give it a try because I've already added Melon. And wow, he literally changed color because he started to glow very strongly. It looks especially good on the night map. Just look how cool it looks. But also with this item called Glowing Staff, you can illuminate not only Melon, but also all the other items that are in Melon Playground. For example, let's try to add a car and hit it with Glowing Staff. And wow, just look how cool it all looks. All in all, this is a very interesting item while we move on to the next staff. Glue Staff is probably the craziest item that was added in the new update 29.0 Melon Playground. Let's hit the ground with it, and within a radius of 5 meters, literally the entire surface is covered in glue. Now, let's add Melon and try to lift it up, and wow, just look how cool it looks. He literally has glue on his feet that prevents him from jumping up or just walking away from this puddle that is made up purely of glue. But the coolest part is when we hit a regular melon with this thing called Glue Staff. Let's check it out because I've already added the melon. And wow, it's literally completely covered in glue, which looks really cool. And now this sticky melon is literally sticking to everything possible. It's a very cool staff, and you can have a lot of fun with it. But even cooler is this next item called the Ballooning Staff. And if I just hit the ground with it, nothing happens. And you might be asking, Melon Madness, but then why did they add this item? Now, let's just hit a regular melon with the staff. Here, I have already added Melon, and I take an item called Ballooning Staff to hit him. And just look, it literally turned into balloons, which looked very funny. But you're going to be shocked at what I'm about to do. To do this, I need a big car and a new item called Ballooning Staff, which, like I said, was added in the new update, 29.02 Melon Playground. And now, let's hit the car with this staff. And wow, this huge car literally turned into a huge balloon and started flying. And the coolest thing is that we can burst this balloon just by quickly throwing it on the ground. You can do the same with any object you want. Here's how cool it looks if you turn a helicopter into a balloon using Ballooning Staff. This is probably one of the funniest items added in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. Well, the next new item is the Slick Staff, and I didn't quite understand how it works. First of all, if you just hit the ground with it, it won't work because it, like Ballooning Staff, must be used on specific items. So let's add Melon and try to hit him with Slick Staff. I'm not sure why, but he's got weird black spots on him, like he hasn't been washed in years. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure how this new item called Slick Staff that was added in the new update 29.0 Melon Playground works. So if you have any guesses or know how it works, then be sure to post it in the comments because I read all the comments. Well, now let me show you the coolest staff in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground, namely an item called Ghostly Staff. And first of all, by tradition, let's try to hit the ground with it. And as we can see, white glowing ghost eyes appear. Now, let's get to the fun part, which is what happens if you hit Melon with the Ghostly Staff. Does he become a ghost? Or maybe I'll get a new secret achievement. So, let's check it out right now in this new update 29.0 Melon Playground. And let's check it out already. Here we go. Wow, he literally turned into a ghost. And where is he flying away from me? This looks very cool because now you can literally turn any NPC into a ghost. By the way, let's see what happens if I now create my own NPC and hit it with the Ghostly Staff that was added in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. Here, for example, I created a Tolero Tralala, and let's see if it's possible to turn that into a ghost. And unfortunately, Tolero Tralala just vaporized. But now, let's try to create a new NPC and turn it into a ghost. For this, I will need an item called Nano Assembler, which was added half a year ago in update 25.0 in Melon Playground. Now we need to add some fruit inside a Nano Assembler to create a new NPC. And now, just activate the Nano Assembler to mix all the fruits I just added. And that's the NPC I got. Now the interesting thing is what happens if I touch it with Ghostly Staff. Will he turn into a ghost? Or maybe I'll get a secret achievement. So let's quickly check it out. And wow, he actually turned into a ghost, considering I personally created this NPC. It's very cool that the developer of Melon Playground added such a cool mechanic that you can now turn any item or melon into a ghost with a new item called Ghostly Staff that was added in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. But the next item is even more interesting because it's Mutation Staff. This is one of the most interesting staffs in the game. And I'm only showing it to you because you've already seen it up to this point. As we can see, it doesn't work on the ground. So let's add Melon and test a new item called Mutation Staff, which was added in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. And just look at what happened to this melon. He literally mutated and turned into a monster melon, which grew new limbs as well as a new head. And the interesting thing is that this process can be repeated literally 1,000,000 times. That is, you can hit a melon with Mutation Staff infinitely times, that he had an infinite number of heads, legs, and arms. And it looks very cool, because this mechanic I did not expect as much as possible. Because just look how cool and weird it looks. It looks like some kind of mutant monster in Melon Playground, which makes it very creepy. By the way, let's check again what happens if we use this item called Mutation Staff, not on a simple melon, but on an NPC that I'm going to create right now. For this, I will again need an item called Nano Assembler from the laboratory pack. And now, add fruit inside this Nano Assembler to create a new NPC. And here is such a monster I have already appeared. And now, the most interesting... How will Mutation Staff work on this NPC? Because it is literally created from parts of different fruits. And what will happen? Maybe from each part of the body will grow a head of different fruits. And maybe I will even get a new secret achievement that was added in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. Anyway, let's check it out right now because it's very interesting. I already pulled this weird NPC out of Nano Assembler, and let's hit it with Mutation Staff. And wow, it literally grew new body parts that are made up of this NPC. It looks really weird because it looks like I actually created a new character in Melon Playground. And a big thanks to the developer for adding such cool mechanics in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. But unfortunately, after our experiment on the ground left a lot of debris that needs to be cleaned up, well, we will do it with the help of a new item called an old broom. And yes, the developer literally added a job janitor in Melon Playground, because with the old broom, you can literally destroy any item or melon. And it looks very cool, but not realistic, because I think you realize that after touching a simple old broom, you cannot destroy a helicopter or a huge car. But in any case, it is a very cool new mechanic that was added in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. Well, the next thing the developer added is a stop sign, and I honestly don't understand why they added it. By the way, this is the only item that does not work on the almighty old broom and even ghostly staff. This is a very mystical and strange item, because how can a stop sign be so invulnerable? Well, the next cool mechanic is in the UI control item. And let's go into the settings of this new item. And wow, you can literally create your own interface for the game. Honestly, I can't imagine what this is for yet. But anyway, I think it can be linked to other mechanisms. So it's obviously a cool mechanic in the new update 29.0 in Melon Playground. Also, the developer has added 2 more new mechanisms, namely plug and socket, that can be connected. And yes, I also have no idea why the developer of Melon Playground added these mechanisms in the new update 29.0, but okay, I do not mind. Well as the developer of Melon Playground added new costumes that look very cool and have a lot of details. For example, a set of clothes that makes Melon look like a grandmother. It looks very cool, and just look at the details of her clothes. And here is the second police officer costume. As I realized, the developer of Melon Playground added all these costumes so we can do role-playing. But the next costume is probably my favorite, because it's a clown. He even has a cool red nose and rainbow hair. Well as do not forget that the main theme of the update 29.0 is magic. Therefore, the developer added a wizard who has a cool magic cloak, a long white beard, which he did not cut for 50 years, as well as cool slippers. By the way, all new costumes have shoes, except for the police suit. Apparently, the developer forgot to add shoes for the policeman, so we are waiting for shoes. Also, the developer finally added the ability to add assets to your map using the map editor. And also now, you can go to the store right in the main menu of the game. Yes, as you can see, the developer has changed the design and buttons in the main menu in Update 29.0 Melon Playground. And that's everything I found in this awesome new update of Melon Playground. But I'm super curious, what was your favorite new staff? Or maybe you discovered something I missed. Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to answer the big question. Should Melon Playground add a staff that can create portals to secret worlds? Type yes or no below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss any crazy updates, myths, or experiments in Melon Playground. This is Melon Madness, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay juicy, legends!